All right, everyone. This is Idris Talib with Shared Living Profits. And right now, let me go ahead on and get Instagram going. Oh, all right. I'm not sure if Instagram's going right now or not. But look, anyway, if you're on TikTok right now and you want to be able to leave me some comments, go over to YouTube, look at The Pretty House Guy. So, as I mentioned, my name is Idris Talib, and I'm with Shared Living Profits. And I've created a way to where you can actually produce multi-family income from a single family house. And that's my claim to fame right there. Shared Living Profits is a way where you're going to be able to invest in real estate with the most powerful strategy that I've ever seen in my life. Now, I've been investing in real estate over 21 years. I've never seen anything like this whatsoever. So tonight, what we're going to be discussing is we're going to be discussing the top three mistakes you need to avoid heading into 2025. That's one of the things that we want to do. So as I mentioned, if you're right here on the live stream, make sure you go over to YouTube or Facebook if you want to leave me in the comments. If you're over here, I see you at TikTok. I may have some people on LinkedIn right now as well. I think I have some people on Instagram also. If you go to YouTube, make sure you say The Pretty House Guy, and I'm going to be able to answer all of your questions and everything. So as I mentioned, there's some mistakes that I see a lot of people making when they get into this business. Some people call it group homes. Some people call it shared living, co-living, collaborative living. There's many different terms that are coined whenever we're doing this investment model. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I've been investing in real estate for 21 years. They call me the Pretty House Guy. Reason being, I was known for investing in nice houses, in nice neighborhoods, no rehab whatsoever. I did everything creatively. Over the past 21 years, I've done hundreds of transactions. I've never had a mortgage a day in my life, made millions of dollars doing this business model. I've been a serial entrepreneur. I went to college for engineering. Then when I got out, wanted to make a lot of money, so I went into finance. I was a stockbroker on Wall Street, then owned a medical practice to where I had offices in Raleigh, Charlotte, Greenville, Columbia, Williamson, Anderson, Atlanta, Marietta. We were making it rain. Had over 300 employees at one time. But nonetheless, the ground got taken from under me. Then there was some Medicaid fraud going on in two of my offices in South Carolina. So back then, that was probably around 2017. I had this knock on my door, and then I had to pay back $400,000 in 6 months. Same time I was going through a divorce, things were just bad. Obviously, I wasn't able to pay back the money. They sentenced me to 5 years in prison. I did 2 years. I got sentenced November 6, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I got out October 30th, 2020. Had nothing to my name whatsoever. I lost everything whatsoever. So I had to build everything back. Not only that, we're in the middle of the pandemic. And then being in the middle of the pandemic, things were just different. When I came out, I thought the old way of me investing in real estate was going to be how I was able to do it. So, I had to get very creative. My mom, she sent me $300. And the first thing that I bought was one of those prepaid cell phones from Walmart. It was a Samsung. So as a matter of fact, it was $69. And then I got the unlimited plan, $55 a month. I think it was Straight Talk Wireless or something. But that got me in the game. That got me started. Fortunately for myself, one of the correction officers had given me a car to drive. When I was in prison, I used to actually teach. I used to have the guys getting their GED. As a matter of fact, we broke the record for the number of guys getting their GED. I was able to relate with them and everything. So that was something that I felt real good about. I also taught a real estate class. I taught, how do you go out and be able to create wealth out of thin air? That's one of the things that I taught as well. I was also in there with the corrections officers. I was help managing their 401ks. I was showing them the different allocations. I used to be a stockbroker at Morgan Stanley, so I had that skill set right there. I also did credit repair. Some of those individuals in there, their credit was destroyed. People were using their credit, so I got it to where it needed to be. Matter of fact, I had a subject to deal when I was in there also. So I was able to do a lot of things. And, the biggest things, I just wanted to keep myself mentally sharp. Although I lost everything financially, I had everything right here. So the first thing that I needed to do when I get out was, okay, how am I going to make some money? That was the first thing that I need to know. My mom, she had put up some money for me. As a matter of fact, I was renting out a room, as a matter of fact. I got out 6 months early, so I had to stay in South Carolina for 6 months before coming back to Atlanta. I've never lived in South Carolina a day in my life. I'm from North Carolina, and then, obviously I lived in Atlanta. So with that being said, I just had to find a place to go. The guy, I was like, look, man, I know about real estate. Maybe there's some ways that we can partner with each other. And he was stereotyping me. I'm this little guy renting out his room. And I said, you know what? You may want to Google me. And then, I've written books on wealth management, books on real estate investing. I have videos all over the place. So that was something that, really caught his eye. Another thing is that individual, he owned, it was either a Papa John's and some Subways. And we had a guy who used to come speak to us, do prison ministry, share the Bible and things, a guy named Michael. And I said, you know what? Do you know Michael? And he was like, yeah, I know Michael. He said, I sold one of my Subways to him. I said, why don't you get a reference on me? And then I had a positive reference. So that was something that was great. So I think I was paying about $700 a month for that room. He ended up moving me into a house that was 90% complete. The house had 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. Check this out, y'all. This is 2020 now. I only had to pay $300 a month, and I just had to cover all the utilities and all the other bills in the house. I had a whole house to myself. So the catch was, whenever I moved back to Atlanta, show him how I'm able to sell things creatively and do the creative finance. So that was the deal that we made, and that went by really well. But nonetheless, I just want to kick this off. I want to tell y'all that I have something special for y'all at the end of this live. So if you stay towards the end of the live, I got some special announcement that I'm going to make. Another thing is I am taking on, 4 more students if you want to build that momentum going into 2025. So right now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and just kick this off. These are the top 3 mistakes to avoid heading into 2025 with shared living investing. Okay. So now, we are in the age where we call it the information age, okay? We get all this information coming at us, and I know so many people, they've been interested in this business model. And the problem is they're waiting for everything to get perfect before they get started. So the first mistake is it's really analysis paralysis, just taking in too much information. They say, well, what do people say? Knowledge is king or whatever. It's bullshit. It's not. Knowledge is not. Information in of itself is not going to allow you to have a transformation from where you are to where you want to be. I mean, just think about it. Let me give you an example. Let's just say that you want to learn how to ride a bike. You can read a book on how to ride a bike. You can watch YouTube on how to ride a bike. But we all know when you get on that bike, there's nothing like actually getting on the bike and getting your balance. You may fall down a couple of times. Some of you may have had training wheels. Maybe you're training your children how to ride a bike, but they're going to lose their balance. And then eventually they're going to get that rhythm. And then they're going to be able to ride. The same thing is with your children. If any of you have children, how many children have just said, you know what? I'm going to wait until the perfect time to start walking. It doesn't work like that. What do children do? When they're first born, they either lay on their back or they lay on their stomach. Then eventually they can kind of roll over. Then eventually they start crawling. And then eventually they're able to pull themselves up. They start taking a few steps, then they fall down. But do the children give up? No, they don't give up. They're not just trying to take in all of this information. They say, you know what? I'm going to keep trying. And then eventually, instead of taking 3 steps, now it's 7 steps. And then what happens? They start rushing everything, then they fall back down. And then eventually, they have their rhythm, they have their balance, they're able to walk. That's the same thing in this business. The most beautiful thing about this business model is that if you do it right, you don't have to open up yourself to so much risk. And that's how I teach people how to do this business. This is the most powerful business model I've ever seen in my life for anybody to get involved with. Because the best thing about it, you don't need to go back to school. You don't need any certifications. As a matter of fact, you don't even need any cash or credit. You can do this starting from wherever you are. I appreciate that, Karen. Wherever you're positioned financially, I can show you how you can get started in this business. So 2025, what I'm going to challenge each of you to do, instead of this being a year of getting all the information, I want this for you to be the year of implementation. Implementation is what's going to cause a transformation. By you implementing some of the things that you learn. You know, we have people listening to all these podcasts, watching YouTube, reading books, going to seminars. They're not doing anything. Why aren't they doing anything? You know, I call it mental masturbation. It's really what it is. It feels real good to get all this information. I got all this knowledge and everything. You ain't making no damn money. You won't make a damn dime by just reading, by just taking in information, unless you're going to be a professor or something. You would not make a dime. And we're in this business to make money and to help people along the way as well. So it's very important that you go out and you implement all of these things that you're learning. And what's going to happen is, yeah, you're going to suck in the beginning, especially if you're doing this all by yourself. Now, if you have a mentor, you have some people you can work with that can help eliminate some of your growing pains. But at the same time, you got to get started. And remember, the best thing about this business, you do not have to open yourself up to risk. Give me 1 second. Okay. Now, the second point that I want to make is we all know when we're looking at this business model. So let me explain how this business model works for some of you who may not be familiar with it. So I call my business model shared living investing. Okay. So basically what we're doing is we have a house, and let's just imagine it's a 4-bedroom house. Okay. Instead of renting out the house to one individual family, each room is like its own apartment. So now with a 4-bedroom, you have 4 streams of revenue instead of just one stream of revenue. And it multiplies the amount of money that you're able to generate for yourself. Some people call it co-living, collaborative living, communal living, group homes, rooming houses. There's a lot of different terms. It's pretty much just the same thing. The most beautiful part about it is you're able to generate multi-family income off of a single family house. Another thing about this business model, it's not going anywhere. There is an affordable housing crisis around the world, as a matter of fact. Well, obviously, you know, most of us, we're here in America. There are so many individuals who cannot afford housing. And one of my beliefs is everyone, despite what your income, despite any disabilities that you have whatsoever, is that somebody, no, we may talk later, Prince. So let me make these points real fast, all right? Someone's trying to jump in the live on TikTok. I appreciate it though, Prince, but I'll get you up here in a second, all right? Let me just go through these points, whatever, okay? So the thing about it is that everyone deserves a safe, clean, affordable place to stay. And let's just think about most areas. They're going to require you to have a 620 or 650 credit score, no evictions. They want you to also be able to have 3 times the monthly income. I know I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. Most decent places, it's going to run you around $2,000 a month. So if you do $2,000 a month times 3 times, that's $6,000 a month in salary. 6,000 times 12 months is $72,000 a year. There's so many people out here who make $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year. Where are they going to be able to live? So we're creating a product that's in high demand. Here's the best part about it. I don't care what happens in the economy. This business model is always going to be in high demand. I mean, let's just think about it. As long as there's human beings alive, we are always going to desire somewhere clean, somewhere safe, and somewhere affordable. It just depends on our income. It can go on various levels. So I have 13 properties around Atlanta. Some are affordable housing. The majority of them are, about 10 of them are. And then the other 3, well, there's one, it's more upper middle class. And then I have 2 mansions. One of them is worth about $2 million. The other one's worth about $4 million. And I can share with you how I was able to acquire those houses with no money down, no credit checks whatsoever. All right. So now going to the next point is Many people, when they start thinking about this business model, they're like, look, if I could put two people to a room, you're really able to multiply the amount of cash flow that you're able to receive. So let's just do this for example. Let's just throw out some numbers, okay? Let's just hypothetically say you're able to find a 4-bedroom house, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And I'm gonna tell you the neighborhoods that I look for. I look for older, working class neighborhoods, low crime, no HOAs, with public transportation. Those are areas that I look for, okay? Because I know who my demographic is. I know who my market is that I'm looking for, okay? Now remember, older, working class neighborhoods. The thing is, it can't be in the hood where they worry about getting shot, people soliciting, people selling drugs. I don't like that. I want kind of, where the old professionals, maybe people who work for the city, maybe people who worked in factories back in the day, they still take care of the yards. Let me tell you a good indication of those neighborhoods. What I look for is I look at the cars that they drive. So, hey, Kim, how are you doing? So when I see I like to see cars like Toyota Camrys. I like to see Honda Accords. I like to see Honda Odysseys. I like to see Nissans. So these are dependable cars. That many people go to work every single day. Another thing that I like to see is I like to see people walking their dogs. I like to see people pushing their babies in strollers. What does that mean? That means they feel safe. That's the type of environment that I want to provide for the individuals who are going into the houses that I look for, because those are always going to be in demand. Another thing is, because I do know my demographic, a lot of them, especially for the affordable housing model, they are lower income. So I know they don't have transportation. So what happens is I need to ensure that they're in an area where there's public transportation. Now, I will say this, because of Uber, because of Lyft, I'll tell you, people are resourceful. So if you do happen to have a house, or maybe you're in a more rural area where there's not a lot of public transportation, this will work, okay? I'm just telling you my preference, okay? I just like major cities, urban areas, because there's such a high demand for the product that I'm offering to the marketplace. And that's really what I am. I'm thinking like an investor. So what does an investor do? An investor, they want to take the least amount of risk as possible and get the highest gain. That's called risk-adjusted returns, okay? Obviously, we know, with the market, like the stock market, things of that nature, the more risk you take, the higher the reward should be. Well, what if there's a way to where you can actually lower that risk, but you're still able to get a nice substantial return? That's just the best of both worlds. And here's the best part about it. You can do this literally with no money out of your pocket whatsoever. Obviously, if you do have some money, it's going to open up more doors for you, but it's not necessary. Another thing, like I said, you don't have to go back to school and get a master's degree. You don't have to borrow no money. You don't have to take on no debt. Now, some of you may want to buy your house, but I'm going to get to why you may not want to buy your house later on, okay? So let's keep this thing going. All right, so like I was saying, I want to run the numbers for you, okay? So let's just hypothetically say there's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And let me tell you what I do. I do not buy the house. I don't recommend any newbies buy the house unless they're in a financial position to where they have massive amounts of cash flow and that's not a concern for them. And then maybe they're buying a house for tax benefits or things of that nature. But for a newbie, I would not suggest that, unless it's just a slamming deal. I would not pay full market value for a house to do this business model, especially in this high interest rate environment. Now, if you get a slamming deal and you have the money, then it does make sense. Or maybe it's a deal to where you can acquire it creatively, like subject to a lease option or seller financing. And let me tell you why I don't suggest that for newbies who've never done real estate before. Because when you're doing creative finance, and it is sexy, it's a great way to acquire properties. And I learned this myself. I've been doing it for 21 years. And when I was trying to teach people how to do it, it's a learning curve. I want you to get some wins real fast. Because what happens when you get some fast wins? Your confidence goes up. The first thing that I like to do when I start working with some of my students, My first goal is to have you cash flow as fast as humanly possible. Everyone knows money can be made in real estate, but can you make money in real estate? There's only one way for you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt if you can make money in real estate, and that's for you getting some wires, some cash flow, some cash, some checks hitting your bank account. Now you know beyond a shadow of a doubt. You may not know everything, but you know you can do it. You know you can make you some money. And that's the first thing that we want to do. What that does is that builds up your belief, that builds up your confidence. You know, one of the things we always hear about is, the power of affirmations. Now, to me, I'm gonna give you a distorted view. I don't necessarily believe the affirmations themselves have power. What gives you power, what gives you confidence is competence. What is competence? That means going out, building up skills, having success. That's how you can have confidence. It's like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, when they played in the basketball game, they were so damn confident because they outworked everybody. They knew no one put in more work than them. Every single practice was like the NBA Finals. That's the intensity they had. You know, I happen to play college basketball and college football. I'm going to tell you about this guy. Matter of fact, hopefully he gets into the Hall of Fame. Anyway, let me tell you about the most competitive player I've ever played basketball against in my life. And I played a lot of guys in the NBA. Y'all know who it was? It's a professional football player. His name's Torrey Holt. He played football for the St. Louis Rams. They may have been somewhere else back in there. But anyway, he won a Super. I think they won either 1 or 2 Super Bowls. They had Kurt Warner was the quarterback, and then Isaac Bruce was the other wideout who was on that team. So when we're playing pickup basketball now, this is not on the basketball team for NC State. We're playing pickup basketball. Like, we're in the gym just playing basketball. This guy is so damn intense. He acts like we're in the NBA Finals or the Final Four or something. He's so intense. I'm like, if he's that intense on a basketball court, I can imagine how he is on the football field. And then I happen to walk on the football team. His brother played football. His brother was probably the hardest worker I've ever seen in my life. And let me tell you where they got that work ethic from. Unfortunately for them, they grew up in Givensville, North Carolina. They saw their mom dying of cancer. And while their mother had cancer, she continued to go to work. And basically, what it put inside of them is, if my mom is dying of cancer and still able to go to work, I can't kick ass on a football field. I can't give 100%. We're just playing a game. She's fighting for her life, and I'm up here complaining. I have no room to complain. And then the other athlete, some of y'all, if y'all into football, he's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer, is Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is the most professional student athlete I've ever met in my whole entire life. He eats, sleep, breathes football, and that's how he became, one of the greatest in the NFL. But going to where we are right now in business, we can apply those same techniques. It's just like the analogy I gave earlier about the baby walking. You're going to suck at this business in the beginning. You just accept that. The most beautiful part about that is, guess what? You're not going to risk anything by going out here and making these offers. You're not going to risk anything by marketing for residents to go into the house that's going to put cash flow in your pocket. Let me tell you how. Oh yeah. St. Louis Rams. Yeah, that was the team. That was the team. Yeah, I was actually a fan of the Rams because just because of Torrey Holt. I just respected him so much. Matter of fact, he was talking to me. So when I went to college, I didn't go on no athletic scholarship. I was a straight A student. I went to college on an engineering scholarship. So my goal in life was, I was raised by a single mom. She worked real hard. Education was very important to us. My goal in life was, I want to make $100,000 a year. Where I'm from, $100,000, you are rich. My goal was, I'm going to save 25% of my check And then hopefully by age 55, I can retire. That was my goal. First thing I was going to do when I graduated from college, I was going to get me a Nissan Altima. Yup. And then eventually, maybe 5 years down the road, I'll be able to afford me a Lexus. And then after that, life was just going to be set. But then once I started playing basketball, so NC State's in the ACC, it's one of the top programs in the country. We had a private plane. We're flying all over the world, eating at the best restaurants, the nicest hotels. I was like, damn, I like living like this. This is nice. Now, I knew my riches weren't going to come in professional sports. I was the last guy coming off the bench. They don't draft people and give them a multi-million-dollar endorsement deal or a multi-million-dollar deal with a team where you average 0.5 points a game. So one of my buddies, we actually grew up together. She said, look, you need to take business 225 with Dr. Huggard. It was personal finance. And when I was in that class, I learned that most millionaires were self-made. And on the last day of class, he gave me the best advice I've ever had in my life. It was simple too. If you are serious about your finances, continue to read books. Okay. So during that break, I went to the bookstore and I picked up Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, it's not the book, but I could not put that book down, y'all. I could not put that book down. And you know, when you're in college, you get those little credit cards, like the $200 limit. I ended up maxing out my credit card on every single book in his series. Yes, you can. Yeah, oh yeah. You can definitely do this in Mississippi. This works. This works everywhere. This definitely works everywhere. So yeah, just get at me here on Facebook. Just send me a message. If you're connected with me on Facebook, you should see me on Facebook. Just send me a message, and then we can talk about that. But nonetheless, once I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it was just like boom, a paradigm shift. I was like, shit, I could be rich. I mean, $100,000 is just a starting point or whatever. So when I got out of college, I got out when the tech bubble burst. Okay, so I actually had a job offer with AT&T here in Atlanta. So my college was back in Raleigh, North Carolina. Unfortunately, the recruiter who was recruiting me was telling me, she said, unfortunately, you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Karen? Yeah, great book. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do for y'all? I'm going to do this for y'all. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this for y'all. So look, if you haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I have this Google Drive folder with some of the best books ever on just business, investing, mindset. It's just like 50 or 60 of the greatest books, timeless classics. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Psycho Cybernetics, Rich Dad Poor Dad, As a Man Thinketh, like all of these books, whatever. If y'all want access to those books or whatever, message me books. Just message me books. Just send me a message books. If you're on TikTok, message me books. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, just message me books, and I'll figure out a way to get it to you. I'm gonna need your email address so I can add you to the Google Drive folder. But nonetheless, for y'all tuning in, I'll give all of you access to that. It's great. Now, I know I'm going off topic, y'all, and I apologize for going off topic. Now, this is what I want y'all to do, though. I want y'all to read this one book, okay? It's the end of 2024, all right? We're transitioning to the new year. What's the two biggest goals everybody's going to have? What are they? Just put it in the comments. What are the two biggest New Year's resolutions everyone has every single year? What are they? All right? Who's going to mess with what are they? What y'all got on TikTok? Let me see the comments. All right. The two biggest things everyone wants to do is, what is it? They want to get in great shape. The second thing, they want to make that money. You're right. Make that money. They want to make that money. Make money, save money, invest, start that business, move ahead financially. Those are the two biggest goals, right? All right. So now, a lot of people, they kind of relax right now. I don't want you to do that. I want you to actually put things in motion to build momentum going into the new year. All right. So the book that I would recommend that all of you read is the 12-week year. All right. And basically what the 12-week year is about, it's about condensing 12 months into 12 weeks. And what that does is that keeps you laser focused on what your goals are. So just imagine this. You're going to get 4 years of results in 1 year. Imagine how powerful that is. And now some of you, it is what it is. You ain't going to read that book. I know you ain't reading that book. You ain't. All right. So this is what I would tell you to do. Okay. Go to ChatGPT or whatever your favorite AI tool is. And I want you to create this prompt. Now, let me think about the prompt that I would say. I would say you are an expert time management. No, maybe not time management consultant. You are an expert in helping successful professionals reach their goals. I want to implement the 12-week year to achieve my goals, but be very specific. I see somebody say, you want to make more money. Be very specific. I want to make $100,000 in 12 weeks doing X, Y, and Z. I want you to create a weekly plan for me for these next 12 weeks in my specific industry. And you got to put in whatever your specific industry in and put that into a table form. And then after they do that, I want you to create me a daily schedule of what to do on a week-by-week basis. And if you do that, ChatGPT or whatever AI that you're using is going to create a plan for you. You can say, I want a marketing plan. You can just go crazy with it and everything. And this will give you something so you don't have to try to create everything, out of your head. I use it for everything. You can do the same thing. Let's just say it's fitness or whatever. You may say like for myself, okay? I'm a 44-year-old male. I am 6'5". I weigh 209. I weigh 209 pounds. Most people want to lose weight. So I'm gonna do lose weight as an example. All right. I'm 6'5". Let's just say, I don't know, I'm 238 pounds. So me, I take blood pressure medicine. So I say, I have elevated blood pressure. I'll also say I don't eat pork. I don't eat catfish. I don't eat mustard. I want you to create a nutrition plan for myself to be able to lose 25 pounds over the next 12 weeks. All right, and do all that or whatever. And then from there, you can say, create me a shopping guide. My budget is, let's say $400 a month, like $100 a week or whatever your budget is. And then you can put certain things in. You may say, I do not eat meat. I'm vegan. I'm vegetarian. I'm, what's the other one called? Pescatarian, whatever. And then you can say from that, from the shopping list or whatever, you can say maybe, I would like for you to develop a meal plan for me. I would like to do my meal prep on Sunday, and I want you to recommend the portions that I have as well. And it'll do all of that for you. I plan to work out 3 days a week. I plan to do weights as well as cardio, whatever it is that you like doing. You may like tennis. You may like jogging. You may like aerobics. Whatever it is. It'll create that whole customized plan for you. You can do this for almost any area of your life or whatever. So these are just some tips. Yeah. That's, and you know what? You bring up a great point, D. Pumpkin Williams, a great point. Talk to ChatGPT like you'll talk to somebody who you're actually getting advice from or asking questions to. If you were me, what would you be doing? Another thing is, I don't know if they do this with the free version, but I know with the paid version, what happens is, it has memory now. So the things that you talked about in previous prompts is actually going to remember. So those are, those are just some helpful things that you can do, because I utilize it in business all the time. I utilize ChatGPT almost every single day of my life. All right, so let's get back to what I was talking about. I can get kind of long with it. I'm not gonna say. You say you girls have a group checks. Hey, oh, y'all, that's funny. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something funny. So let me tell you what some people do. So look, I have I have some homeboys. They be on the dating apps and stuff like Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, all that other stuff. So what they've done is they program ChatGPT to create prompts when the young ladies have messaged them certain things or whatever. So I mean, you can use it for a wide variety of things, and this, it's pretty good. But nonetheless, those are just some things that you're able to do. But going back to what I was saying, I done got all off track of it. Okay, so point number two, the second big mistake that you don't want to make is you do not want to run your numbers based off double occupancy. All right, so let's do the math on this, y'all. Okay, so let's just hypothetically say you got that 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, and let's just say that let's just say you do every room for let's say $800 a month. Okay. 800 times 4 rooms is $3,200, right? Your lease is $2,000. All right, so at least $1,200. Let's say the other bill is $600. I don't know. So your cash flow is $600 a month. All right. So what a lot of people are doing is they're like, look, if I put 2 people to a room, my income is going to explode. All right, so let's do the math on that. Okay. So let's just hypothetically say that you do put 2 people in a room, so you charge $650 per bed. All right, so $650 times 2 is $1,300 per room. $1,300 times 4 bedrooms is $5,200. All right, subtract out the $2,000 minus probably another $1,000 or whatever. So what does that leave you with? $2,200 of cash flow compared to $600 of cash flow. So I see a lot of people say, you know what, we're going to do double room occupancy. All right. And I'm a huge advocate of that. However, I don't want you running your numbers based off that business model, because what I've seen is people would be too optimistic and they would take on an obligation that's too large for them. For example, they may take over a lease like $3,500 a month. Well, what if you can't get double room occupancy? You in some deep shit. Because if you're only getting $800 per room at $3,200 and you have to pay $3,500, you're in the red. I've seen a lot of people fall in that trap. Okay. So to be conservative, run your numbers based off single room occupancy. So let me tell you what I do. Okay. My goal when I do affordable housing is to do double room occupancy. That's my goal. But what I do is I run my numbers based off single room occupancy. The reason being is because, for one, I know that I can get that place fit up just like that. All right. And now I'm cash flowing. I got money coming in. It ain't a lot of money. It's not going to make you rich. But I have, where that house is self-sustaining, now what I can do is I can go out and market to maximize profitability by bringing in 2 people per room. And I got a whole script of how you get the people out and all that other stuff or whatever, of how you do it. That's beyond kind of the scope of this live today. So my first goal is cash flow as fast as possible, then maximize profitability. And that's the way that I go about with all of my houses and everything. I'll tell you, within going from scratch, within 9 months, I had about 11 homes. I was doing about $27,000 a month, just off this business model, without owning any of the houses. 27,000. Now it's much more, as a result of it. So this business can truly be life-changing, pretty fast if you're willing to put in the work. Now, the third mistake that people make, this is the most critical mistake that I see people make. The third mistake is people look to spend all their time in the beginning acquiring the house without marketing for residents for that house. And let me tell you what happens, okay? So let's go back to my 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom example. A lot of people, when they get started, they're doing rental arbitrage, okay? So what rental arbitrage is, I will lease a house. Okay, Johnson, that's net. That's net. Anytime I give you a dollar figure, it's net. That's after all expenses. That's what comes into my pocket. That's not gross. Expenses have already been factored out. It's a lot higher than that now, though. But nonetheless, the biggest mistake, like I said, is people they're not marketing for their residents ahead of time, even before they have the house, okay? And the problem, do you think we should get another house if we have at least 4 rooms filled in the home, or should we wait until it's tough? All right, so that's a great question, Jessica. Okay, so do you think we should get another house if we at least have 4 rooms filled in the home, or should we wait until it's totally full? All right, so this is the way that I would look at it is you have to look at what your goals are. If you're cash flowing pretty good, and then you can afford to get another house and it's a wonderful opportunity, I would, because that's really going to multiply your cash flow. And then not only that, Jessica, another thing that you're able to do, you can continue marketing to bring in people to that house that you do have some residents in. So that's what you're doing is you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'm always a big advocate. If it does make sense financially, go ahead and continue to scale. Well, all right, so let me give you a 2 houses. Jeez. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty impressive, Jessica. So what that tells me, because that's the point I was about to make. The only time I would not advocate acquiring additional houses is if your operations aren't succinct. So basically, if you're having a high turnover, if you're having a lot of residents who aren't paying, if you're having residents that's leaving things in a nasty condition or whatever, you need to really shore up your operations, which is going to be, all of your systems and processes or whatever. So that's something that is very important, okay? If you do have that, things are going well, you're cash flowing, there's not too many problems with the house. So some people want to say, what is a way to where I can eliminate every problem? It's impossible. It's impossible. You would not eliminate every single problem in this business. If anybody tells you you can, they're lying to you. And the analogy that I give is don't let that stop you from getting started in this business. Let me give you an example. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. Some of you, wherever you are in the nation, every single day in any major city on the highway, someone gets in a car crash. It happens. Is that going to stop you from going to work every single day? Yes, there is a threat of there being a car accident. It may not even be your fault. You could be driving, paying attention. Somebody's all on their phone, not paying attention, swerving to the lane and hit you. That happens every single day. But the only thing that you can do is try to manage your risk, pay attention, slam on brakes, honk your horn, things of that nature and everything. The same thing in this business. You would not be able to prevent every single thing negative from happening. All you can do is kind of just lower the ramifications of that happen. Okay. What platforms do you market your homes that are more upscale properties and everything? All right. So, Erica, with that, all right. So I got to tell you. All right. So one of them would be I will put it on VRBO and Airbnb or whatever, because there's some people they're bouncing around looking at different things. But generally speaking, a lot of it's word of mouth. That's where I'm getting probably the majority of the people for the upscale homes. It's just word of mouth. We do a lot of events, and then people talk. People talk. We have some real cool things that are going on around the city. Some people say fill them up first, but I really need another one mid-Houston. I'm losing people because I don't have mid-Houston in my homes or in the suburbs. Yeah, I mean, if you're cash flowing well, Jessica, I would go ahead and then you have a good grasp on things. If there's a demand for, a particular population and you're able to find that product, why not? I would say go for it. That's what I would go for and everything. Another thing, Erica, to answer your question, so the houses they have kind of two distinct populations. Okay, one of the houses is a recovery home for people who have cosmetic procedures. So what we do is we actually market to the different plastic surgery places, and then we let them know about that. So that's been, very successful. The nurse practitioner or some of the medical assistants, they can come by and then they can check on their patients instead of them having to stay in a hotel or maybe an Airbnb. We have concierge service, we have a private chef. It's a really upscale everything that we're doing, providing a quality experience while they recover. So when they're ready to go home, they just had a wonderful experience. And then, word gets out. So that's one of the homes. And then the other one, what we do is we target individuals. So in Atlanta, I'm not sure where you're from, but in Atlanta, if someone stays like in Midtown or Buckhead and they stay in a condo, they're paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, plus probably another $1,500 in expenses. And they stay in a condo. Now, condos are nice, got the high rise and all of that or whatever. But with our mansions, they'll never be able to stay in a place that nice based off of their income. They won't be able to qualify for, that's a $4 million house. They wouldn't be able to qualify for it. And now, they're getting all the amenities of that. We have an infinity pool. We have 2 kitchens. We also have driver service. We have a cleaner that comes every other day. There's a weight room in there. We also have, there's a theater room in there. It's a beautiful place. Everything's already fully furnished. We have events there all the time. We have a co-working space in there. We have a speaker series where people come do all types of things or whatever. So yeah, you could you're in Louisiana. It has to make sense. But the way that I do it is I make sure that I'm not taking on any risk. Okay. So my acquisition strategy when I do these luxury homes, I do not do rental arbitrage. I'm not about to promise somebody $25,000, $35,000 a month. I'm not doing that. It's too much risk for me. So what I do is I do profit sharing. So profit sharing, the revenue that comes in. Now, I'm gonna tell you for me now, someone asked that question on the net of growth. Look, I'm getting my percentage off the top. There ain't gonna be no net, it's gonna be gross for me. I get my percentage off the top. If somebody, because I was negotiating a deal, actually I had a deal that I was negotiating, me and my business partner, we had the opportunity. It was a wonderful opportunity, it just didn't make sense. We're about to take over 16 properties, all profit sharing, but they wanted the mortgage to come off, before they did the profit sharing. I said, nah, we're not doing that. I said, it just doesn't make sense. So for something like that, it needs to be gross. When I do profit sharing, I'm getting my money off the top. The wonderful thing about profit sharing is that you don't have to put up no money. So that's why, especially if you don't really have a lot of money in the beginning, I do suggest for people to do profit sharing because it allows you to get in the game and make some money. Here's the best part about it. Let's just say worst case scenario, things just not working out. Life happens, right? It could be COVID. It could be a variety of things that can go on or whatever. Give the house back. You ain't got no risk. You ain't put up no money. Ain't nobody reporting you nothing to Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. Give them the house back and then do it again. Don't just give up saying that this doesn't work. It does work. You just didn't have the right experience. Learn from the mistakes. Take an analysis. Okay, what did I do wrong? What needs to be improved? What can I do better? And keep going. So that's kind of my attitude towards everything or whatever. Nothing is going to work 100% of the time. Think about how many people have these companies that go bankrupt. They don't just give up. They start another daggone company, keep it moving. And us as entrepreneurs, we have to have the same fortitude. It's just like if you work your job. Let me ask you a question. If you work your job and get fired, are you never going to apply for another job again? Yeah, you want to apply for another job. Okay, this role didn't work out for whatever reason. Maybe it was me, maybe I was incompetent, or maybe they had whatever it is. I'm going to apply for another job. I mean, some people, you may be in a position to where you can start your own business, but others, if you get fired, shit, go LinkedIn, Indeed, whatever, do whatever it takes to get you another job. Same thing in business. Don't give up. It's out here for us. I promise you. Look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Look, we're now, well, sometime in mid-January, we're about to be in Donald Trump's economy, whether you like him or not. The reality is we're in Donald Trump's economy. The House is Republican. The Senate is Republican. What do you think every daggone law passed is going to be about? Helping business owners and investors. I guarantee it. And it's going to go through just like that. So what does that mean we need to be doing? We need to be an entrepreneur. We need to be an investor, even if we have our day job. If you hate how the election turned out, best thing you can do is go get filthy rich these next 2 years. All right, Erica, what percentage regarding property sharing we think is fair? Owners out of state or have to run and oversee problems? So the way that I would negotiate the profit sharing, Erica, is first you got to run your numbers, okay? You have to run your numbers to figure out for what you are doing, does it make sense financially for you to do whatever task you are doing? And that's going to dictate what percentage you ask for. But what I do is I don't ask or I don't present a percentage up front. What I do is I ask them, it's just a little sales technique, what did you have in mind in terms of our profit sharing arrangement? So sometimes, I mean, how sophisticated they are. A lot of people, if they're not good negotiators, they're going to say 50-50. 50-50. I'll tell you what. I'll be willing to work with that, okay? That's what I'm going to need for you to do. I need you to make sure this house is fully furnished, everything's clean and spotless to be ready to go. Are you willing to make that commitment? If they're not, because sometimes what's going to happen is these individuals, they strapped, they ain't got no money. They may be behind on their mortgage, and that's the reason why it's prompting them to work with you, because you can help them make more money. Now, another thing is you do have to run the numbers because you got to be fair to them as well. You want to make sure that what you're offering them is at least going to be money to try to cover their mortgage. Now, let me tell you how to have the conversation if that's not the case or whatever, okay? Because some people, what has happened is they may have refinanced their house and they have a huge high interest rate. Or let me tell you another thing that's happened as well. You have a lot of investors have got caught up like this, okay? So a lot of investors, they got caught up with hard money loans and they weren't able to sell their house. So now they have this high interest rate that they're paying every single month. And obviously they want to get rid of it, but you got to knock them into reality. You're like, look, you want $4,000 a month for your house, but the market is only demanding $2,500. How's that going to work? If I'm going to work with you, it has to be mutually beneficial, okay? Instead of you trying to come out of pocket $4,000, even if you're only coming out of pocket $1,000, you're winning. That's a $3,000 a month gain that you have. By us working together, you ain't doing nothing. I'm doing all the work. You see how to have these conversations with these individuals? So I will tell you this now. Profit sharing works real good with expensive properties because of margins. So for example, 30% of 10,000 is a lot better than 30% of 1,000, right? Because of your margins. So that's why I really love doing that with really expensive properties. Let me tell you a niche that I've established. All right. What you want to do is you want to look for, now with this, you do kind of have to be in the right type of area or whatever. You're in a rural area and there's not a lot of people, this probably wouldn't work, okay? but in a more urban area, this would work. So, for example, I would look for properties that have been on the market forever that haven't sold, that are vacant. And then you can look and see if there's a mortgage on them. If there's a mortgage, it's vacant, it hasn't sold. Ooh, these people coming out of pocket paying that, and someone may be behind. That's an opportunity. So now, I can't believe I'm giving y'all this game, but I'm giving y'all this game. Check this out. So now what you do is, this is how you find these properties, y'all. Real estate agents. Let me tell you why. Because if a real estate agent has had a property, hasn't been able to sell it, their client is probably a little pissed off about it because they put their confidence in this agent to sell that house, and it ain't selling. And they're making this mortgage payment on an empty house. So they feeling a certain kind of way and everything. And then the agent's feeling a certain kind of way. Man, I haven't been able to sell this house or whatever. You know? So now you come. You say, look, what if there's a way into where I can save your relationship with this exclusive client? Okay? And the way that we're able to do this is, what if I can turn this liability? What's a liability, y'all? A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket, right? That house is a liability. It's a major liability. It's about $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month. That's a major liability. I don't care how much money you have, unless you're writing the losses off of taxes, but that's neither here nor there, right? What if we could turn that liability into an income-producing asset? I got their ear now. And I want you to introduce that concept to them. All right. So while their house has been vacant, not selling, because the thing is about an expensive property, you still need to maintain the utilities. You still need to maintain the alarms. You still need to maintain the landscaping. You still need to maintain the pest control. You got ongoing expenses because this house has to look at top of the line. You said, Kiara, how you found out if it has a mortgage? You can go to propwire.com. Propwire.com, register for that, where it's free. And then under there, put in the address of the home. And then it's going to show you all the mortgage information if there's still a mortgage. Okay. That's how you find that's what I do. All right. I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Turn into an income producing asset. Okay. So now, even if you're not able to bring in enough money to cover the whole mortgage, you're still giving them relief, and it's passive for them, okay? And just imagine they're making money off of this house now. They're happy. They feel good about the agent for introducing you. And guess what, you are making money off a house you don't have to qualify for. How beautiful is that? Ain't nobody checking your credit. You don't put no money down. What's your risk? You can't get nobody in, give them the house back. That's your only risk. How can you lose? Now, everybody's not going to go for it. They're not. You ain't got nothing to risk. You have nothing to lose, though. Either say yes and you can make money, or they say no and you're in the same position where you're at today. But at least you took that shot. Because guess what? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. 2025 is about execution. It's about implementation, not gathering all this information. You've listened to enough YouTubes, podcasts, workshops, Facebook Live. I know you listen to my Facebook Live, but still, this is good information. But still, no, you got to implement 2025. So let me tell y'all another thing, though, because I was just thinking about this today, all right? You don't need all this damn information no more. You know why? You got AI. Let me tell you this quick story. Now, some of the facts may be off a little bit, okay? Henry Ford one time, if I'm not mistaken, Henry Ford, he was the guy who created the Model T car, which mass-produced transportation here in the United States of America, okay? Henry Ford was not educated. So basically, it was a high school. I don't even know if he went to high school. I have no idea. Anyway, he wasn't educated. He wasn't part of the elite socialites like Donald Trump and his boys. Forgive me for talking about, I don't give a shit about him, but it is what it is. All right. But nonetheless, he wasn't high class or elite. He didn't talk with all of being very articulate and everything. He was just a little commoner or whatever, use simple language. Okay. So for some reason, they took him to court. I don't know why. But anyway, you can Google the story, get all the facts, because I'm just trying to drive a point home. All right. They were asking him all of these facts, like what is the capital of Greece, or what war did Napoleon Bonaparte, like just stupid shit. They had nothing to do with his, area of specialty and everything. And then he abruptly stopped, in the middle of the trial and everything and said, look, y'all, why am I going to fill my head up with all this useless information that's not going to help me right now? Every single question that you're asking, I can get somebody to come in and give me the answer. And basically, that's what you can do now with Google, YouTube, and AI. You don't need to know every single thing to get started, especially if you're not putting up any money or leveraging your credit. Now, if you're putting up a lot of money in your credit, you better know what the hell you're doing, or you better have a good team of advisors. I will say, because it's risk. If there's no risk, everything relatively may have some risk, but if the risk is minimized, go for it. And let me tell you how I do risk assessments, okay? So what I think about is when I'm analyzing risk in terms of if I want to do something, I look at what is the absolute worst thing that can happen by me moving forward with this, okay? And then when I think about the worst thing that can happen, I then start to compare it. What in the world's going on TikTok? I'm sorry, y'all. Live with, okay. I got a timer on TikTok. Well, look, if y'all on TikTok, it says I only got 4 minutes, 50 seconds. Y'all need to bring this thing over to YouTube. Look up The Pretty House Guy. Not Pretty House Guy. That's my old YouTube channel. The Pretty House Guy. Come on over to YouTube. But nonetheless, God, I done lost my train of thought again. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about when I'm assessing risk, okay? I think, okay, what is the worst thing that can happen? And then I think about, okay, I want to look at my upside potential. What's the best thing that can happen? In my experience, generally speaking, I think about moving here. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry. Drag the puzzle. What is this doing on TikTok? I've never done live on TikTok. Maybe. All right. Okay. So I guess I can consider, but nonetheless, I think about, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the best thing that can happen? Generally speaking, in my experience, your results are going to be somewhere in the middle. The worst thing won't happen, neither will the best. Somewhere in the middle, okay? Now, the way that I make my assessment if I need to move forward is, if the worst thing happens, will this destroy me? Okay? If it will destroy me, I would not move forward with it. I don't care how high the upside potential is. Now, if the worst thing happens, and maybe I'm a little uncomfortable, I could be broke a little bit, may lose some money, but I know I'm gonna be able to feed my family, take care of my children and everything, and there's enough upside potential, then I will move forward. And for each of us, we all have different, risk management, risk tolerance levels. Some of us are more aggressive, where some of us are more conservative. And you just have to be true to yourself when you're thinking about taking on risk, okay? And if you're not able to analyze risk, I wouldn't move forward with it. I don't care what anyone says. You need to be able to analyze any risk. Otherwise, you're not investing, you're speculating. and you don't want to do anything that's speculative, especially if there's downside risk that can put you into some type of position to where it can just totally destroy you. That's just too much risk. All right. So nonetheless, I go for my 3 points. I done got I done got off track. Do y'all have any questions about anything whatsoever? I'll answer any question that you have for a few minutes. All right, TikTok, we got any questions? Let's see, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All right, so we don't have any questions. So what I'm doing, like I said, so I do have a coaching program to where I teach people my 4F framework, okay? The 4F stand for how do you find the most appropriate house for this type of business model? The second F is what is the best way to fund the acquisition of this business model? Give me 1 second, Amanda, and I'll answer your question. The third F is how do you furnish this house with the least amount of money coming out of your pocket? And fourth, which is my favorite, how do you fill the house up for maximum profitability? That's the 4F framework or whatever. So, if you want to get started, only if you're really serious about this, I do have, I have some discounts that's going on till the top of the year because the prices are going up for the coaching. But, just message me, send me a DM or whatever. We can have a conversation. All right. So what are the rules? Okay, man, you said, what are the rules about garages? How many can I put in there? Do you mean how many residents can you put in there? All right, so for me, I will tell you what I do is I don't pack the rooms up to where they're uncomfortable. I just don't do that. I know I could probably make more money, but I do want people to have a quality of life. I want to present a process. So let me tell you what my goal is. Okay, I make our rooms so nice they'll never be able to afford to stay in a place that nice based off their income. That's what I do. Okay. And that's really my goal or whatever. So I don't have anything more than 2 people to a room anywhere. There are some places where I could, I just don't. Okay. What type of insurance do you have in your homes? Okay. So the type of insurance I have, general liability, business insurance, and then I do have renters insurance as well. And then there's no requirement, but if the residents want to have renters, matter of fact, I ain't never had no resident have no renters insurance. Now I think about it, and then I make sure that if I don't own the house, because there's a couple of houses I do have a seller financing, but nonetheless, I make sure the owner of the house maintains their policy as well. Mississippi rural area, I have a mobile home park and utilize it as a group homes, but there's not many homes in the area. How do we get these beds filled? I'm marketing, volunteering. Any other suggestions? All right. So with that, all right. So this is what I would do. Okay. I think it's Miss T. I don't want to mispronounce your first name. Okay. All right. So here's the first thing I would do to kind of generate some ideas is that I would actually go to ChatGPT and I will put that scenario in and say, can you create me a 30-day marketing plan that I can execute? And also, okay, Tanya. And then also, what you can do is you can actually put in the address. You can put in your address, and the AI will analyze your particular area, and then they'll come out with a marketing plan. There's another website. All right, y'all. Let me go to my bookmarks. Give me a second. There's a way I can share my screen. Give me a second. I'm gonna share my screen with y'all. Present. Now look, TikTok. If you want to see me share my screen, I go over to YouTube now. The Pretty House Guy. So those who are up here, they're gonna be able to see it. Let me share screen. Share screen. Allow. Chrome tab. Entire screen window. You can see my whole screen, don't matter. So I'm gonna share my screen with you. All right, you should be able to see my screen. Looks like a bunch of stuff real fast. Let me open up a new tab. Hopefully you can share, you can see my screen. I'm not sure, but where is it at? I know how to find it. Let's see. Let's go to Lord, y'all. I can't. Oh, here it is. Log in. Can y'all see my screen? All right, hopefully y'all can. But log in with Google. So what I'm showing him right now, I'm getting this website. So I'll just say the name of the website once I find it. I can't think about it off of the top of my head right now. All right. Here it is. Findhelp.org. All right, y'all. So one of the websites you can go to is findhelp.org. Find free or reduced cost resources like food, housing, financial assistance, healthcare, and more starts here. So let's put in the zip code. All right. So right here, you see there's different categories: food, housing, goods, transit, health, money, care, whatever. All right. So we're looking for housing, right? So these are organizations that help pay for housing, housing advice, maintenance and repairs, residential housing, temporary shelter. All right. So let's go up here. Let's go to temporary shelter. So if it's temporary shelter, that means these people, it's just temporary. They're going to transition to some permanent. You know, you can contact these organizations. This is the address, phone number right here. All right. So this is a good, website right here. All right. So let me take off this shared. Hold on. Hide. Stop screen. All right, cool. So that's, you know what? All right, let me show you. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me show y'all something else. Present, share screen. All right, y'all. So y'all who are on TikTok, I'm about to share my screen. Make sure you go to YouTube, The Pretty House Guy. Okay, go to share my screen. I'm gonna show y'all some cool stuff. All right, so I hope you can see this. I'm not sure, but I think you can. All right, so now, okay, y'all, I'm in ChatGPT now. Let me go to a new chat. Right, let's just say I have a house at 1859. All right, let me read it out in case y'all can't see it. So here's the prompt. I have a house at 1859 King Alfred Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30331. This house is an 8-bedroom house that I use for shared living investing. I am having a problem attracting residents. Create me a 30-day comprehensive plan to attract at-risk adults with guaranteed income. Bam. Hopefully y'all can see it. If y'all can't see it or whatever, I'm just going to read it out or whatever. So basically, here's a 30-day comprehensive plan to attract at-risk adults with guaranteed income. It says week 1, optimize, market the house. Talks about the listings that you put up there. And it actually gives you examples of what you can put in your listings. It talks about the platforms to use. It has day 3 and 4, create eye-catching ads. And it just goes over, it gives you a day-by-day plan or whatever for you to be able to do that. So hopefully you were able to see that. I'm not sure if you were or not. Stop screen. All right, here we go. All right, cool. So you can see. Thanks so much. But yeah, another thing is like for ChatGPT, another thing is you can say, create me an ad to place on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace that's going to attract, whoever your demographic is at the location 123 Main Street, I can't even think of a city in Mississippi. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, you can do that and it will. It'll be able to pull all of the different amenities in the area and create an attractive ad. So these are just some of the things that I teach people, in my program. I have scripts, I have resources, I have systems, I have processes. It's just a step-by-step guide to help you become successful in this business. Because like I said, this to me is one of the most powerful business models I've ever seen in my life. And anybody, if they're serious about actually doing the work, can be successful in this. All right. So I got a few more minutes. It's getting late. I'm going to take a few more questions. If you have any questions or whatever, then we'll wrap up. And what I'm going to do, so look, I'm going to challenge myself to actually start going live a lot more. I kind of tell all of you to step out your comfort zone, go out, make this happen. But hell, I need to do the same thing in terms of, kind of just sharing, some of this knowledge and resources with you. So I'm going to challenge myself to do that, to be, more intentional in terms of this is just a game changer right here, especially for myself and my family and what I've been able to do. I'm 44 years old. I'm in that sandwich generation or whatever. A lot of us, I call them the successful high achievers. You did everything right. What's up, Sawan? You did everything right in life. You made good grades. You went to college. You went to graduate school. You got that six-figure job. Now what are you doing? You're taking care of your children, making sure you have enough money for them to go to college. Also, our parents are getting older. We got to take care of our parents as well. We're caught right there in the middle. Are we going to have enough money for retirement? I went to school for engineering. Most of my colleagues make between $100,000 and $250,000 a year. If they're saving money in their 401k, they need between 2.5 and 6.25 million to be able to retire and maintain their standard of living. How in the world are they going to be able to save that much money? It's almost impossible. But instead of relying on compound interest, what if you can rely on the velocity of money based off cash flow? Does that make sense? Because $100,000 a year is $8,333 a month. Is it easier for you to save 2.5 million or to create an income stream of $8,333 a month? That's like on the low end, it's like 4 or 5 houses. Even if it takes you 5 years, just get 1 house a year. Eric, just message me on my messenger or whatever, and then I can send it out to you, brother. Okay, but you can be very conservative with this. And all right, so let me tell y'all kind of my philosophy on this stuff. Okay, all right. So let's just hypothetically say that I'm gonna go with some case studies with you. I was talking to starting a scalable business to invest in cash. You're exactly right. So check this out, y'all. So I have a different view in terms of acquiring real estate than some people do. Let me tell you why. So let's just assume that you do have a job that you're looking to leave, okay? Most people, their goal is, most people that I know, they don't want to climb a corporate ladder to try to be CEO of some big company. Most people I know, they're there because, the safe security and all the income and everything, but they want to leave. They want to have options on their own, okay? So when I sit down with my students, the first thing I go over, okay, what are your goals, okay? What is the first benchmark that we are looking to come to? A lot of them saying, look, I want to be able to leave my job. Okay, how much money do you need to be able to leave your job? I need $10,000 a month. All right, cool. That's the first benchmark. All right, so check this out. Let's just say that, I got good credit or whatever, got a little bit of savings or whatever. I want to go buy a house. So traditionally speaking, if you're going to go buy a house and you're going to use it as a rental property, most lenders are going to require 20% down, right? So let's just hypothetically say that that house is, let's say it's a $300,000 house, okay? 20% of $300,000 is $60,000 you put down, right? Their mortgage is going to be $240,000, all right? PITI, you're looking at around $2,100, give or take, all right? Because of interest rates, all right? So now, let's just say they do this shared living investment model and they're able to net cash flow $1,500 a month. All right, that's good cash flow, right? So 1,500 times 12 is 18,000. All right. 18,000 on 60. That's almost, let's see, let's just round it up. 2, 6, 1/3, 3. That's about 30%. That's like a 30% ROI, which is great. When you look at your cash flow yield, bring in 18, put up 60, 30%, right? Rule of 72. That means, let's see, 2 years. Okay. But nonetheless, check this out, y'all. If your goal is to leave your job, I wouldn't tell you to go buy a house. Let me tell you what I would say do instead. All right. I would say do rental arbitrage. Let me tell you why. Because for $60,000, you can probably control 8 properties. Now imagine 8 properties at $1,500 a month. That's $12,000 a month of cash flow net. That's $144,000 of cash flow. Your $60,000 turned into $144,000 of cash flow rather than $18,000. Now you have a monsoon of cash. You can leave your job. It opens up more options for you. Now you can really go out and get into the game of acquiring assets. And I would even suggest you get a mortgage, try to acquire those assets creatively, subject to seller finance and things of that nature. But even if you do get a mortgage, you have solidified your cash flow position, which allows you to leave, which gives you, you don't have financial freedom, but you have financial independence. I built this business model to scale so you can grow fast without taking on a lot of risk. I know what it's done to me. Let's see, is this smart? Whoa, 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 Beastie Boys. Hey, brother, got any oil? All right. Oops, all these. Okay, we got the, what do you call them people who be making them little stupid ass comments? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to let them stay because I don't know how to kick them out. We'll figure out how to. Oh, yes, I do. Anyway, it's good. How can I get a boat with no cash and no credit? All right. So nonetheless, that's just kind of my philosophy right there. You know, I want to figure out a way, okay, what is the fastest way with the least amount of risk I can get to my finish line? And then once I'm there, you know, I can establish some additional goals. Does that make sense? So, all right, so let's see. Do y'all have any other questions about anything? All right, so now, if you're watching a replay, I just want you to put down replay of this. You know, I gotta learn how to do all this, these call to actions and everything. So look, nonetheless, if you would like some help, like I said, I'm taking on 4 more students. Just send me a message, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, or whatever. Just send me a message me profits, okay? Send me a message profits. I'll make sure that we can schedule some time to have a conversation. Now, if you're gonna waste my damn time, don't message me. Please don't. Please don't. All right. If you're just trying to pick my brain, this is not a pick my brain type session. This is for somebody who truly wants to have some help and get involved right now. Not saying I'm going to start in 3 to 6 months. No, I need action takers. Okay. We're looking to build some momentum going into the new year. Okay. Now, if you have any questions about anything whatsoever, you can leave them below in the comments. And y'all have a good evening. And I'm going to be doing this on a more consistent basis. All right. I'll talk to y'all later.